What is up, YouTube guys and gals? Thanks for joining me here on my live cast again. Stephen Sturgill will be your host for the next few minutes. Doing back-to-backs today, so whatever. It's your lucky day. I've had this fragrance for quite a while. I'd say probably the better part of a full year, nearly. Yep. Replica Jazz Club from the house of Maison, Margiela. So, which I think this is really owned by, is it Estee Lauder? One of those super huge, one of those. I think it's either Estee Lauder or the other, or Lancome. Might be Lancome owned this, but at any rate, I had been putting this review off for quite a while because I wanted to make sure I understood what I was dealing with fragrance-wise, and I also don't necessarily want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But unfortunately, some of what I'm about to say is going to slew fairly negative. So let's get into it. Firstly, nice bottle. I'm not going to bore you to death. You've seen 100 other reviewers review different things from this house. It's a, they're nice, cute bottles. They look like old-time whiskey decants, from the Jazz Club era. I will say this, high indecence. The opening is by far the best thing for me. And in my mind, the opening is like head and shoulders above the rest. Let's get into the notes. So, notes on this is alieno masine. That is a woman, not a man. Top notes are pink pepper, lemon, neroli. In the mids, rum, clary sage, and Java vetiver oil, or Javanese vetiver oil. And finally, in the base, tobacco leaf, vanilla bean, and styrax. Now, on paper, guys, that sounds like a home run. And it would have been if she had used a lot more tobacco, a fair amount more of vetiver. Maybe lost the pink pepper. I don't think that was necessary here. Styrax, if you're already using vetiver and tobacco, and clary sage is probably uncalled for. Neroli's fine, but it's a little bit of an odd man out here. Let me tell you that right now, guys. One of my number one pet peeves with this fragrance is, and I could be wrong, but to my nose, this has a huge amount of ambroxan in it. I can tolerate ambroxan if done well. I really don't like ambroxan when done when it's overwhelming, when the blend has gone astray. And for me, this blend has gone astray. Sorry about that. I thought I had. Sorry. Notifications. Bear with me. How embarrassing. Okay. Anywho, there is a component in here that if you get real close, it's just too syrupy sweet. Almost like a mashup of pineapple mash, vanilla, that ambroxan, the styrax. It's somewhat just absolute overkill. And I will also say that, and I'm not saying this in a sexist kind of way, but I think this leans either at least incredibly metrosexual, or just flat out leans somewhere between 60 and 70% feminine, and the remainder masculine. And that would be fine if the feminine side was done better, but it's not. And so I don't know. You know, this reminds me of, guys, and I promise you, this is to a large extent what this smells like. This smells a lot like if you took 1 Million, the original by Paco Rabanne, and just gently watered it down and pulled out the cinnamon entirely, just gone, and then added the Javanese vetiver. This is largely almost identical to what that would be. So put that in your mind. Paco Rabanne 1 Million, water it down, dilute it about 25 to 40%. Lose the cinnamon. You know, a few other nuanced changes, but by and large, this is highly reminiscent of what that would be. There's a lot of ambroxan here, at least to my nose, but I'm going to try to kind of save this a little bit. It's not terrible, and if I was new to fragrance, the fragrance game, and I didn't already have a bazillion better tobacco fragrances than this, because I mainly bought this for the tobacco note, guys. I'm a tobacco lover. Also, really, really starting to love vetiver for quite a while now. Like patchouli, like a lot of stuff. I might have appreciated this a lot better if I had gotten this at the very beginning of my journey, because I wouldn't have known all the other great, better stuff that's out there. And this is not a slam on the nose, guys. I want to make something crystal clear. When a nose does a dossier, a workup for a big house, you know, for a super company, they've got to basically please whoever is the lead designer and our board members. You know, they are the ones that is going to usually ultimately decide on the blend, not the nose. You know, the nose would do one thing and those guys do another. Now, that's not just to get out of jail free card, but I want to make it crystal clear. She has an incredible catalog, which we'll look at here in a minute, of absolute interstellar, galactic, fantastic, great juices that are just mind-bogglingly awesome. Sadly, this isn't one of those. So I will put it like this, guys. If you're someone that doesn't mind or veers towards something that's not so committal, not so tobacco based, a bit feminine, definitely not indie or niche, you might really quite like this. It doesn't smell bad. It smells pleasant. Smells interesting. Smells a bit gentlemanly in a weird way, although it also veers metrosexual, somewhat feminine. But I will say this, guys. I have a lot of puristic tobacco scents that are just very, very just cigar tobacco and very little else. I would think that if I blended these two, they might have a beautiful baby, and it might be fantastic. So I'm actually going to try that here, probably in a live cast down the road. I'll probably take some really, really strong, very pure, puristic, as the Germans like to say, tobacco-based scent, and I'll try to do a wedding marriage of the two and see if that works. But short of that, this is, sadly, I cannot recommend this to anyone seriously out there unless you're starting your fragrance journey and you're not sure that you like tobacco and you kind of want to just barely get your toe into the door. Then that's fine. This will absolutely more than do the job. But for someone like me that's just way, way into my journey, I've got like probably 35 cigar or tobacco based fragrances, if not more. This just falls so short. I think of Jazz Club, I'm thinking of pungent cigar smoke, pungent booze, bourbon, whiskey, oak, cedar, some vetiver, some oak moss, a little bit of musk wouldn't hurt, a little bit of myrrh, some grapefruit. Uh, you get the idea. More so of that. So yeah, it is a beginner fragrance, but it's in a weird kind of space in decence. I think that it pretends to be a mid-level, almost mid-journey type fragrance, and I really, really don't think it is. Except by some mild nuances, it's pretending to be this kind of slightly upper mid-level tier seasoned veteran frag head, but it's really not great at doing that. So it's slightly in the weird space. I think it's pretty good for what it is, with huge asterisks. It's not at all fantastic. So, but again, this is not a poo-poo on the nose. She is phenomenal. And to make sure you guys understand that, and again, really, guys, this is not a terrible fragrance by any means. I want to make a couple things clear. This has pretty good longevity, decent to good projection. It's not bad at all. That is not what I'm saying here in any form. If you think I've said that, I apologize. I've described it poorly. I'm saying for where I am at in my journey. This is how I receive or view or smell the fragrance. But I do think it has some significant shortcomings, and I would be remiss if I didn't share that with you honestly. I would assume you're coming to my channel because you want someone who is fairly experienced in the frag game, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I have strong opinions, and I generally stick to those. That's all I've got is my knowledge and my opinion. That's all you've got. We could argue like statistics all day and agree, like scientists. Oh, this has ambroxan and methanol and metrodol and all these dihydrochlorobase. I don't know. They have all these crazy names. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about what do you get from it? What do you smell from it? Do you like it? Is it sexy? Is it for a man? Is it for women? What age group? Yada, 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 etc. So all that aside, it's not bad at all. But for where I am at in my fragrance journey, it just doesn't solve a problem that I currently have. But it's not bad. It's not, we'll leave it at that. Before we go, here is some stuff that she's done. I think most of you will agree that some of these at least are at least pretty good to very good to incredible to potential masterpieces. So let's get into it. I'm only going to highlight, guys, titles that stand out. Feel free to go over to Fragrantica. And again, her name is Eleanor Massenet or Massenet, if you don't speak French. Firstly, David Beckham's Instinct Gold Edition, gorgeous bottle, dropped in 2015. House of Davidoff, Agar blend. I like oud. That may be pretty worth checking out. Run Wild for Her, for you ladies. Diesel, Only the Brave. Brave by Banca. Brave Extreme, Only the Brave Music Animation. I'm not going to mention all the stuff. She did do Intuition for Men way back in 2003 for Estee Lauder. Faberlic Beau Monde, gorgeous minimalist type bottle. Also Bouquet de Jardin, looks like a woman's bottle, I'm guessing. Floraiku, That is a sort of a very upper artsy fartsy niche luxury brand, fairly covered by Fragcom. Some reviewers cover some of their stuff, and they generally get really strong reviews. She's done Between Two Trees, Cricket Song, First Dream of the Year, I See Clouds Go By, One Umbrella for Two, which has a cult following, and Sleeping on the Roof. So you may absolutely want to check those out if you've got the coin, guys. Those are not cheap. Trust me on that. I think they average around between roughly 225 and 275, let's say, give or take. House of Frappon, which I absolutely love that house. She did Isle of Man back in 2017, very recent. Fubu, she did Plush way back in 2002. She did do Emporio Armani Night back in 03. JUS, or Juice Parfum, she did Sexy Crush last year. No, 2 years ago, excuse me. One that I love, absolutely a true tobacco fragrance, Jack, by the house of Jack Perfume. I think they're based in Los Angeles. Not 100% positive. Anyways, that's back in 2014. Jimmy Choo Illicit Flower for the ladies. Jupe Homme Wild and Fregiste. Karl Lagerfeld Bois de Cèdre, or Cedarwood. And what else? Oh, by the way, guys, lest I forget, she has literally single-handedly done the majority of Memo Paris fragrance. I'm going to say that again. Let it sink in. She has done the majority of all the fragrances for the house of Memo Paris. Fragrances that sell for up to $600 or thereabouts per bottle. Starting with Eau de Memo, French Leather, Granada, Isla Domel, Inlay, Inlayris or Iris, Irish Leather, Italian Leather, Jeannette or Jeannette, Jeannette Baby Eau Fraiche, Kidu or Kedu, Lalibela, Luxor Oud, Marfa, Marfa Spices, Moon Leather, Moon Safari, Russian Leather, Siwa, Sundance, Vadu, Winter Palace. Oh my God Almighty. Also, Oriflame, Magnetista, gorgeous bottle for the ladies, Paco Rabanne, Crazy Me, and Fabulous Me. Those are both unisex, and those were last year drops or whatever. They came out last year. Tonino Lamborghini, she did Classico back in 2013. Two in Heaven Him, or Everyone in Heaven Him. House of Two or Twos. Also Man Intense. Mildly interesting looking bottles. A little generic if I'm blunt. Also, guys, for Victor and Rolf back in 2006, you did the Green Juice Antidote. So if you've been poisoned, take the antidote from Victor and Rolf. I have no idea what that smells like. I've never smelled it. That is going to do it, guys. If you like, please subscribe. Click the bell for future updates. That's going to do it. Any thoughts before we bid each other adieu? Feel free to type any suggestions, questions, whatever's in your mind. Feel free to share it now, or for not ever hold your peace, just for a while. Guess not. That's going to do it, guys. Spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms if you can. It's either too long or too short. Love you guys. And again, this has been my slightly sad, pathetic review on Replica Jazz Club by the house of Maison Margiela. Peace out, guys.